Richician!
Hey YouTube, Dark Richician 84 here, and welcome to part 10, I think we're on now, of my history series. So, I'm going to be talking about 2013, the year where we got one of the worst ban lists ever, and when I celebrated 10 years since I got into the game, but that'll come up a bit later. So, round about the start of the year, I gave up on playing Prophecy Dark Magician for some reason. Can't remember why I did actually. I guess it didn't feel like it was working out that well. I don't know, looking back, maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance. I don't know. I feel like I could have and should have stuck with it. There would have been some potential, especially when Spellbook of Judgment would come out. So yeah, it was back to Dark Magician Hero. Now, not much happened throughout January regarding Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but February was where things picked up. Scapegoat User and Avril came to visit again, and this time they played in one of Derek's tournaments, which would be on the Saturday, and I decided to play Rainbow Neos because it had been a while since I did. In fact, the previous time I did was in a tournament in late 2011, which I forgot to mention about. But, I didn't do that well in that one, by the way. I think I only won 2 matches. Which was against a random deck and Light Swarms. Anyway, back to 2013 though. I actually got paired against Scapegoat User in the first round. I don't remember what he played though. It might have been level 1 beats, maybe? I don't know. I do know that it went to a third game. I won game 1 with not too many problems, but game 2 did have problems because he summoned Thunder King against me right away, which caused me to struggle, and I lost that one, but I took game 3. Then I went up against Bevan, playing Macro Rabbit, which was basically Dino Rabbit but running Macro D-Fisher. Yeah, this was not a good matchup for me, considering that again I need the graveyard so I can play. That being said, I'm pretty sure this did go to a third game, and but I lost the match. Then I'm pretty sure I played against Billsy, playing the Dolces, and this is actually also a bad matchup for Rainbow Neos, because here's the thing about my Dolces. The strength of Rainbow Neos is sending cards the opponent has back to the deck, and my Dolces put stuff back in the deck as well in order to do things, and this actually helps them and doesn't really hurt them. I mean, I have no problem spinning the back row away, but spinning away the monsters and the graveyards just doesn't do anything, at least not spinning back the graveyard. So it was a bit of a struggle, although again it did go to a third game, but rather annoyingly in every single duel, every time I summoned Stratos, his effect got negated, either by Effect Veiler or Fiendish Chain. That was annoying. And then I lost against Jack with his Fairy Agent deck. That sucked. So that's 2 of my 3 signature decks that lost against Jack. But I think I did win a match though. Another match. Don't remember who it was against, but I do remember finishing 6th. And this is something that would happen a lot in tournaments throughout the year, finishing 6th. So weird. I might as well have been called 6th Richie, just like all those times where Balti kept finishing 9th and got the nickname 9th Balti. After that, I played my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck in the following tournament, hoping to do a bit better, because I feel like Derek's house tournaments were easier to play in than all the ones at the hall. Of course, that being said, I scrubbed out in this one and did even worse than the previous time. Now, there were only 6 of us, me, Davies, Bevan, Jack, Ginger, Matt, I think. Basically the guy who hung out with Bevan a lot. I'm pretty sure Matt was his name. It's been a while. And who else was in it? Max O, that was it. And I did play against all of them except Ginger Matt, which was probably just as well, because he was playing Empty Jar, which wasn't very nice. I did see one match where he played against Davies, who was using Dark World. It wasn't in round 1, it was a bit later on. Now, remember when I said about Dark World decking out? Well, this was the only other time where I saw this happen. There's a lot of cards that get round the Dark World monsters, like Hand Destruction, which says send to the graveyard, not discard. Fuck Empty Jar, seriously. I'm glad I avoided it, so I was at least thankful for that. But as for the scrubbing out that I endured, I started off by playing against Davies with Dark World, and I just struggled in this match and lost. But I think I lost 2-1 though. And I almost forgot, during this tournament and the previous one, and several others, a swear jar was introduced. So, like, literally, if any of us swore, we'd get charged £1. And I think in that other tournament, me and Davies probably swore the most. I don't know about him, but I think there were times where I forgot it was in effect, and whenever it happened, Derek would pluck up his ears and then go, "Pound!" Although there was one point against Davies where I almost swore, but still had to pay £1 anyway, which was absolute bollocks. As I almost said shit, but what I did was go, "Oh shit, sugar," and I still got charged £1. I mean, come on. It shouldn't count if I don't completely say the word. Fucking hell. So yeah, that was that. Then I lost 2-1 against Bevan with spell books. Then I lost against Jack. I think I got 2-0'd by him. And then in the next round, I got paired against him again for some reason. Now, even though I did manage to take it to a third game that time, I unfortunately still lost. It was like, why can't I beat him anymore? Then I got pitted against Max O in the final round and got done in by the wind-up OTK shenanigans. But I remember saying, you know what, this is fine, because I'll have the last laugh, because in 2 weeks' time, you won't be able to do that anymore. And yeah, I said that because the ban list dropped the night before, and I saw that wind-up carrier Zen Mighty got banned, and it meant that wind-ups could no longer OTK or hand loop. So with that, I no longer had a reason to hate them. And also round about this time was when me and Tash, another former girlfriend that I don't normally speak of, got together. I kind of hate bringing her up, but I'm fine to do it for the sake of the history video series. So yeah, we ended up getting together. Not that that's important to the Yu-Gi-Oh life, but I thought I'd bring it up anyway. The relationship is something I'll make a note of when I talk about 2014. After that, there was one tournament held at Dead Universe Comics, and that was the only one held back in 2013 for some reason. Now, I do know I took Dark Magician Hero, and I did play against Duelist Milesy, who I think was either playing Spellbooks or Light Swarms, probably Spellbooks, but I don't remember who else I played and how I did. It's tricky. Then the following week, there was just some casual gaming going on at Derek's place. I had 3 battle royales with Bevan and Ginger Matt. In all 3 of them, they used the same decks. Bevan had Spellbooks, and Matt had Agents. And in the first one, I played Dark Magician Hero and beat the both of them. Then in the next one, I played Blue Eyes White Dragon and didn't win that one. And then in the other one, I played Rainbow Neos and beat the both of them. And I got revenge on Bevan. And then a week after that, there was supposed to be a tournament, but no one was able to make it. Jack turned up though, so I had a couple of games against him, and lost both of them. Even when I went into my side deck, when I used Rainbow Neos and sided Imperial Iron Wall against him, just to stop him bringing out Hyperion, but I somehow still lost against him. That sucked. There was even a point where I set Phantom of Chaos, which was still in my deck at the time. He played Mind Control, took control of it. Sorry about that, I ran out of space. So yeah, as I was saying, he took control of Phantom of Chaos with Mind Control, and I was chuckling and saying, "You can't even do anything with it." But then he proved me wrong. He summoned the Agent of Mystery Earth, added something, then synchro summoned Gaia Saber, which, funnily enough, was one of the best level 6 synchros we could play. There was also Iron Chain Dragon, but level 6 synchro options were very limited back then because Go Guardian and Brianak, the best two, were banned. And obviously Coral Dragon didn't exist yet. Then I lost the whole thing. After that, tournament started running again. The following one played Dark Magician Hero and just scrubbed out big time. I just did not do very well at all. Can't remember if I only won one match or didn't win any. All I remember was losing against Dark World. That was annoying. Don't remember my other matchups. So in the following one, played my Elemental Hero deck and didn't fare any better. And I remember not doing very well. But I do remember facing Davies in his Dark World deck, and I had some fun with Mirrorgate, which I was trying out. And there was one point where his Grapher attacked one of my monsters and activated Mirrorgate and just swapped control of them, and the Elemental Hero he attacked got destroyed. And then I was like, haha, let's see how you like having Grapher used against you. Only I ran into Mirror Force. Fuck's sake. But things picked up though a week later. I played Rainbow Neos, and actually did well. I think I won 3 matches that day. But what I played against was a bit hazy, but I did play against Unzi, who I think was playing Durax at the time. I can't remember. Yeah, this was the first time in 4 years that we'd be playing against each other, and I won against him, but I don't remember my other matchups, although I specifically remember topping and playing against someone with wind-ups. Don't remember who it was, though. I'm pretty sure I did lose the match all the same. And yeah, not much happened throughout this time. Besides the Dragon Rulers coming into the game, and I'm pretty sure around about this point I was making plans for a 5th Margate trip. And I was working on rebuilding some old decks. All my tournament winning decks and some fun decks from the past. Again, I brought back Machines, Warriors, Pure Dark Magician, Neos Wise Man, Prismagician, even Legendary Hero. and then the more casual stuff, Exodia, Plant Hero, which I first built in 2010, Dead Eyes, Neospatians. Yep, they were actually making a comeback and had Miracle Contact this time. Evil You Bell Hero as well. Anime Dragon, which was formerly Hopeless Anime Dragon, because yeah, thanks to the September 2012 ban list, Hopeless Dragon was dead, and we can all thank Chaos Dragon players for that. Future Fusion banned, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon Limited. Yeah, there was that. My deck of cards as well. Of course, it would take a while to put all these decks together. And just build it up to the 10th anniversary celebrations. I also made some very good improvements to Dark Magician Hero, and it was the best working build ever, so I was very happy with it. Although I did play Rainbow Neos in a couple of tournaments in June. First one I don't think I did that great, but in the second one it went really well. I don't remember much about it, but what I do remember is making top 2 again, second time ever, and faced off against Derek the Godfather himself in the final, playing Black Wings, but sadly I lost 2-0 against him. Damn, so close, yet so far. And then I just played Dark Magician Hero mainly, and there was even a tournament where I actually made top 2 with that deck for the first time ever. It was quite an interesting setup for this tournament. As we used the star chip rule for some reason. It would start with 2 and just and then we simply decided that whoever had the most star chips would face off in the final. But rather awkwardly, there was a situation where me, Maxo and Code were tied for having the most ones. Yeah, I thought it would be me and Maxo, but somehow Code did as well. And we were trying to figure out what to do about this. I proposed a 3-way final, but Max didn't want to do it. He suggested rolling a dice to see which 2 should face off, but I didn't want to do that either, because I felt that choosing by dice roll wasn't exactly fair. And then Code asked what the prize was. I don't remember what the prize was, but it wasn't something he was interested in, so he just let me and Maxo face off. And then, of course, I lost against him. Oh, and he was playing Mermails, by the way. Unfortunate, but oh well. And it was also around about this time where a new deck that I was really struggling against came into the picture. Evil Swarms, making their debut in Hidden Arsenal 7. And I'd keep losing against it whenever I encountered it. all because of Evil Swarm Ophion, one of the most bullshit, degenerate Xyz monsters in the game, which in my opinion should have been banned a long time ago, because decks with high level monsters just auto lose to it and basically can't play, well, except Monarchs and True Draco, I guess, because they usually get tribute summoned. So yeah, a lot of my usual decks would just auto lose against it. It was like fuck all ways to get around it, especially when it always has protection from Infestation Pandemic. And I was desperately hoping that would get hit on the ban list. Like, screw Dragon Rulers and Spellbooks. I didn't give a shit about them, even though Dragon Rulers were the best deck of the format. I just wanted Evil Swarms gone. But the interesting thing is, I didn't face pure Dragon Rulers back then. The closest thing I did face was Dragon Ruler Plant, which Billsy and Darkness L 1989 were playing at the time. So that was rather interesting, and I heard a lot of horror stories about Dragon Rulers. But then again, I've never really had any strong opinions on them. Let's see. Then, after that, the OCG and the TCG started having separate ban lists again, which was that way before, but I remember in September 2006 that the lists merged together, but then they got separated, which was confusing because we got two different ban lists, one which I thought was the actual ban list, and then we got another one which was the TCG ban list, and of course this was the one that I rated 10th on my list of hated ban lists, because to my horror Elemental Heroes Stratos was banned. And yeah, as I said before, I was so pissed off and upset about this. I couldn't believe Konami did that, and they only did it because of the Blaze Phoenix FTK deck. And I know I talked about it before, but it was just fucking bullshit that heroes were being punished for a crime that they didn't commit, and they hit the wrong card back then. Like, I just don't understand why they couldn't have just limited Divine Wind of Mist Valley and just straight up banned the Blaze Phoenix. Like, even just banning Blaze Phoenix by itself would have been enough, because with that gone, the FTK deck is dead. And yet they went after Stratos, even though Heroes did nothing in that format, especially since they were auto-losing against Evil Swarms, and yet Evil Swarms didn't get hit, but Heroes did. How was that fair? And then, of course, Stratos would remain banned for the following 5 years, much to my dismay. Sure, I did get the third E-Core back, but it wasn't the same. And that was typical, because a couple of months before, I made those amazing changes to my deck, and it was running beautifully, and then Konami just straight up ruined everything, and now I just wasn't sure what to do. I was wondering whether or not to go back to Legendary Hero, which played more than Heroes, even though it meant I couldn't use Stratos in that deck as well, or go back to playing pure Dark Magician, or just stick with Dark Magician Hero and just make do without Stratos. I also wasn't happy about Heavy Storm and Monster Reborn going, but then a lot later on I changed my mind about Heavy Storm, and it got to that point where I don't want it back at all. It was said that Monster Reborn was just unhealthy and too sacky for the game, which was fair enough. And it was actually annoyed when people would use it to steal my Dark Magician, which I didn't appreciate at all. And yet, in early 2018, Konami brought it back. It was random and unusual. There were a lot of great changes on this list, though, which I did like, including card destruction getting banned. Not that I hated card destruction, but it did mean that Dark World got indirectly hit, even though it was banned because of Dragon Rulers. I was also happy that Bottomless got limited, and Dimension Prison got semi-limited, while Macro and D-Fissure got limited, and I was jumping for joy over that. I was like, Macro decks are dead! Yippee! Although one person did question this and said, this guy hates Dark World, yet he hates Macro and D-Fissure, which just counter Dark World. But what people like this don't realise is that there are other ways of dealing with Dark World, like ways that don't involve Macro and D-Fissure, and also, as I said before, Macro and D-Fissure do not complement any of my decks in any way whatsoever. So even if I didn't hate those cards, they'd be double-edged swords that can backfire. So yeah, that was that. And then my 5th Margate trip came about. But I only saw Neo-Nexus scapegoat user Avril and Flannery and no one else, because at some point between the 4th and the 5th trip there were fallouts between some of my friends from Kent, and I was just like, what happened? So yeah, I just hung out with them, really. So we had a mixture of GOAT format games, what's left of the format duels, quoted by Neo-Nexus, and new format duels. So yeah, we started off with GOAT games, had a few new format games, and well, by this point I did another mini tournament to celebrate 10 years since I got into the game. Only the decks I would use would be decks that I'd never ever won a tournament with, at least not up to that point. So we chose which decks each of us would use and would feel would be easier, and over the course of the few days I won the whole thing with Dark Magician Hero, defeating Rainbow Neos in the final, which Neo-Nexus used. But there were a few funny moments, like farting in a couple of those rounds and stinking the others out, as well as that MST negates joke where I negated a hand destruction with Dark Paladin's effect, and Neonexus went MST negates. Then I laughed. It was like the one time MST negates, and we just pissed ourselves laughing. That was fun. There were a couple of moments though where whenever I'd summon a Stratos, either Dark Richician 1989, who was in a call over Skype, or Scapegoat user would go banned, but then I'd be like, not yet, it's not. Like, just let me enjoy Stratos while I still can. There was that. Once that ended, we focused on new format games. Like so far, I had a couple of matches against Scapegoat users' Madolce deck. I lost with Legendary Hero. I faced it with my Machine deck, but I can't remember who won. And then there was a Battle Royale where I played Dark Magician, Scapegoat user played Madolces, and Neo Nexodus played Zombies. But rather disappointingly, I didn't get Dark Magician out once. Oh well. And then there was a point where a Scapegoat user farted while we were having dinner. We were just trying to balance eating dinner and dueling at the same time. And then he let one rip loud and proud, and we're like, oh. And Neonexus said, dude, we're fucking eating. But I was like, it's alright, I just finished. So I was all good. Let me think. Then we had a Battle Royale where we all used 3 of my decks. I used Prismagician, Scapegoat user played Elemental Heroes, and Neonexus used my Warrior deck. Unfortunately, I had the worst possible hand. I drew into all 3 of my Dark Magicians, which is, of course, is never good for Prismagician, as Dark Magician is a dead card in hand, and I desperately needed Morphing Jar or Hand Destruction, but I never drew them, despite the fact that I was trying to deck fin and draw cards off Gemini Spark. I never got to them, and I got taken out. So yeah, couldn't have asked for a worse hand, even if I tried. And yeah, that was pretty much it, really. Oh no, wait, there was a GOAT format Battle Royale where I played my badly built Dark Paladin deck. I could have made a better one, but I wanted to make it similar to how I played it, how I actually played it back in the day. Whereas Scapegoat user was playing Goat Control and Neonexus was playing Chaos. Despite the other 2 having better decks, I was able to win the whole thing. Couldn't say how I did it exactly. Unfortunately, I don't have the video anymore. Now, there were some games which didn't get filmed. There were 2 battle royales where there was a mistake that messed up the game states. One of which involved threatening Raw, which Avril activated at one point on Scapegoat user's turn, but I guess he either forgot that she did that, or he didn't hear her and attacked anyway, which changed everything. Then there was another one involving Naturia Fruit Fly, of all things. There was some confusion with that card for some reason. Is this the one that makes monsters lose attack? Yeah, all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack and defense for each Naturia you control. Once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls with no defense and take control of it until the end of the turn. So I don't remember exactly what the mistake was with it, but there was that. And then there were a couple of games that I deleted by accident. As I filmed a match with Neo Nexus where I used my warriors and faced off against his zombies, and I did win the match 2-1, but in game 1 we needed a ruling on a card, so I stopped recording so we could look it up, but I guess I didn't put that part in. So yeah, I lost half of game 1, and deleted it by accident. And then there was another battle royale with no mistakes at all, but again I deleted it by accident somehow. Maybe I was trying to make space on the camera. I can't remember for sure. It was just dumb and unfortunate. I mean, how the hell did I delete 2 videos by accident? That was just really unfortunate. And yeah, that was pretty much the gist of the 5th trip. And then, start of September, the other celebrations would begin, where I would do what I wasn't able to do the previous year, and that is play in tournaments with all of my tournament winning decks, and in chronological order. So I started with machines, but I don't think I did very well in this one. I lost against Dark World, played by Tobias, in the first round. Skill drain hurt me. What were my other matchups? I can't remember for sure. It's been a while. I figured out how to make my main choice of Dark Magician deck easier. The choices being Pure Dark Magician, Legendary Hero, and Dark Magician Hero, and whichever deck did the best would be the deck I would roll with. Pure Dark Magician was next, and I started very well. I beat Davies, but I don't remember what he was playing. It wasn't Dark World, because he stopped using that like 1 or 2 months beforehand. I know this was round about the time he started playing boogies, but I don't remember if that's what he was playing in that tournament. I don't think it was. I just remember winning against him and then losing against Billsy, still with Dragon Ruler Plant, but I don't remember how my other matchups went. I do know that I won another match, but lost 2 others, so that brought it up to 2 wins. Then I played with my warrior deck, but again, I just didn't do very well at all. I lost against G, playing Evil Swarms, and then I lost against Steve-O, who was playing something with Blaster, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. It wasn't Fire Fists, it was something else. I can't remember exactly what else he played and whether or not I won against him. I did face Jack though, but I think he was playing Fortune Ladies at that point. I vaguely remember him playing those, and I actually did win against him, but I don't remember about my other matchups. And then Prismagician was up, and I just completely scrubbed out. Yeah, this was the worst run I'd had in a while, and the worst performance from Prismagician ever. I lost every single round, including against the 2 Maxes, playing Dragon Ruler Plant and Mermails, respectively. And in the Mermail matchup, I was struggling so much that I set Morphing Jar and was just hoping it would go through, but then he used the effect of Marksman to pop it, which threw me off at first, because I was like, wait, I thought that only popped back row, but I thought wrong, it pops any face down card, and that just screwed me over. Then a week later, Elemental Heroes were up, and this was a special fun tournament, because we were all allowed to use 1 banned card, and I chose Stratos, as I felt it would be appropriate giving Stratos a proper send-off. Unfortunately, I got pitted against Gladiator Beasts, which Clive was using, but I was able to beat him 2-1. Don't remember how I did it. I know Heraklinos struggled in the duel that made me struggle in the duel that I lost, and I was desperately hoping for a super polymerization and a low-level hero, which I desperately needed, so I could get rid of Harak and make Nova Master. Didn't happen though, and I've still never pulled that off, even to this day. I used Super Poly to fuse an Elemental Hero with a Gladiator Beast Heraklinos to make Nova Master. Then again, I guess it mainly contributes to the fact that no one's playing Gladiator Beasts right now, well, except maybe Gamer Central actually, and B, it's a deck that I never want to play against. I'll be damned if I ever have to face my old arch nemesis deck ever again. But anyway, I don't remember faring so well in the rest of my matches. I think I won 1 other match, and that was it. And I remember getting pitted against Davies twice for some reason. By this point he was playing Boojins, which, I don't know, they weren't too bad to start off with, but later support, followed by Kaiser Colosseum, just caused me to struggle against them in games after that, and I actually used to hate Boojins, like, a lot, at least up until Kaiser Colosseum and Vanity's Emptiness got banned, but that wouldn't happen for a long time yet. After that, there was another fun tournament where we could play one banned spell, and I was using Neos Wiseman this time, and I thought about using Stratos again, but I instead decided to go with Graceful Charity, because I figured that would help me more, because I could get certain monsters in the grave and bring them back, which could make it easier to set up for Neos Wiseman. But unfortunately, it was a complete scrubbing. Yeah, I lost all my matches, and I only remember 3 of them though. I lost against Davies with Boojins, I lost against Clive with zombies, and then I had an unfinished match with Code, but I don't remember what he was playing. I had to drop out of the match because I needed to leave at a certain time so I could go to a party, more specifically a housewarming party hosted by my brother and my sister-in-law. Because at that point my sister-in-law had officially moved over from America to here and started living with my brother, and they got their own place together, and that was a good time. Then a week later, Legendary Hero was up, and I was hoping to do well, but unfortunately I didn't. I did start off really well though. I defeated Tobias with his Dark World deck, but then lost all my other games. It was round about this time I was having this really annoying problem where whenever I'd play Legendary Hero, I'd start out okay, and then I'd bring out the Shining, and then the Shining would get destroyed, and I would get to add back 2 banished elemental heroes, but I'd have no plays because I'd have a really bad hand for some reason. Like, I kid you not, this happened every single time, so I just didn't understand what was going on. I don't remember who I lost against though. I think I did lose against Derek that day with Black Wings. Other than that, it was just a complete blank, and yeah, only one match was won, which was the worst I'd done with my Legendary Hero deck since the days that I was playing version 1 back in October and November 2010. Then Dark Magician Hero was up, which did a bit better, but rather typically I won 2 matches with that as well. By that point I managed to get hold of a Digusto Emerald, which I heard would help Dark Magician out a lot, because the idea behind it would be to get Dark Magician into the graveyard by, let's say, Prisma, make Digusto Emerald, and then use Emerald to special summon Dark Magician from the graveyard. Now, I don't think I had a completely solid rank 4 engine in my Dark Magician hero deck, even though at the time I was playing Utopia and Heroic Champion Excalibur. And yeah, Digusto Emerald was of course the latest edition. Now, I did beat Tobias and his Dark World deck again, but lost against Clive, who was playing Evil Swarms, much to my annoyance, especially since I did have a way to counter him. There was one point in game 2 where he summoned Ophion, activated his effect, but then I activated Divine Wrath, and yeah, got rid of it. So yeah, that was one way to do it, but then he made another one, and I did have a Divine Wrath face down, ready to use on this one, but then rather annoyingly he got round it by activating an Infestation Pandemic, which he hard drew, and then he was able to successfully detach, add another Pandemic, and that just outright screwed me over. Yeah, it was annoying that he got round my countering, and then I lost that match. Then I lost 3 other matches, don't remember what they were against, but I did, however, beat Billsy with Dragon Ruler Plant. There was one point where I had Elemental Hero Escorida on the field, and he managed to bring out Big Eye and take control of Escorida, attack me and do some damage, but then on my next turn I finished him off with Shining Flare Wingman. So yeah, rather annoyingly, it was a tie between pure Dark Magician and Dark Magician Hero, and I still wasn't sure which deck to roll with. Typical. After that, I gave my Neos Wiseman deck another chance, because obviously I wasn't able to have a proper run with it, seeing as I had to leave early. Didn't make a difference though. I lost every single match I played in, including against Derek with his Black Wings. So, yeah. And that was the celebrations. After that, I completed my Utopia deck, which I was working on for a while. And I played that in a tournament around Derek's place. I didn't do so well to start off with, though. I lost the first 3 rounds. I don't remember who they were against, though, but I did face Shieldwing David with his Store Wings, and I managed to beat him with not too many problems. I was like, I finally won a match. And then I played against Archie, who was Jack's brother, and he was playing Dragoonities, and I managed to win against him, mainly with Utopia Ray Victory. So yeah, that was that, and little did I know that this would be the last Pharaoh's Elite tournament I would play in, at least until that one-off that happened in 2017. Now, there was one more Pharaoh's Elite tournament that year, but I wasn't able to go because it was on a Sunday, and I couldn't go for 2 reasons. One, I was working, and 2, there was a Thanksgiving party at my brother and my sister-in-law's place, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hold on, you're British. British people don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And yeah, I am aware of that, but obviously because my sister-in-law is American, she does. Yeah, even though I think the tradition is Thanksgiving Day being on a Thursday, on the last day of November. It was kind of hard to actually do that on the actual day, so we were invited over on the Sunday and attended. And it's just been a thing in their household ever since. And I just loved coming over and stuffing my face with mashed potato and turkey. Yeah, I'm quite jealous that Americans get to do that at that time of year. Because yeah, I love my turkey, and mashed potato is of course one of my favourite foods ever. And I don't think much else happened Yu-Gi-Oh! Wise after that, apart from the January ban list dropping, which was kind of wild. Dragon Ravine and Return from the Different Dimension got banned. I don't remember what else got banned, like if any. Self-destruct button, that was it. Self-destruction button got banned, and so did something else. And then all the big dragon rulers were limited, and so was Final Countdown. Yeah, that was very notable. And yeah, I was really hoping that Stratos would be unbanned, but no such luck there. I just remembered another good change I liked about the September 2013 list. Gateway of the Six got banned for some reason, which I was very happy about. A couple of Six Samurai players I knew back then, not so much, but like, screw what they thought. I was glad that Gateway got banned, because fuck Six Samurais. Although it would have been even better if Shen and Beast got banned, because they're the actual problem cards, but what can I say? Nothing's perfect. It was annoying though that Gateway got unbanned a few years later though. Didn't agree with that at all. Same with Shen going back to 3. Gee, that's a thought. Is Gateway of the Six still limited? I need to check. I think it was in 2017 where it went from banned to limited. Yes, Gateway of the Six is still limited at the time of recording this. And yeah, that pretty much covers 2013. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for when I talk about 2014. Catch you later. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Richician YouTube channel.